Imagine waking up one morning to a government notification that simply says, your enhancements are no longer legal. Not because they malfunctioned, not because they hurt anyone, but because society has decided you are too advanced to be allowed to exist as you are. Your neural accelerator must be removed. Your strength boosters disabled. Your memory expansion rolled back to baseline human limits. Welcome to the age of human downgrade laws, a future where progress doesn't just move forward, it gets forcibly reversed. At first glance, the idea sounds absurd. Why would a civilization capable of enhancing the human body and mind ever choose to go backward? Why spend trillions developing neural implants, synthetic muscles, genetic optimization, and cognitive accelerators only to outlaw them? The answer isn't technological. It's political, economic, and deeply psychological. Human downgrade laws don't emerge because upgrades fail. They emerge because upgrades work too well. In the early stages of human enhancement, the story is familiar. Medical implants restore movement to the paralyzed. Neural chips help people with memory loss. Genetic therapies eliminate inherited diseases. Society celebrates. Headlines talk about miracles. Governments subsidize enhancements. Corporations race to innovate. And for a moment, it feels like humanity has finally escaped its biological limitations. But this phase doesn't last long, because enhancement never stays equal. The first fracture appears between those who can afford upgrades and those who can't. Enhanced individuals begin learning faster, working longer, and outperforming unmodified humans in nearly every field. Promotions skew toward the upgraded. Universities quietly favor students with cognitive accelerators. Military units composed entirely of enhanced soldiers dominate conflict simulations. Even creative fields begin to shift, as neural creativity boosters generate ideas at speeds no unmodified brain can match. Inequality, once economic, becomes biological. At this point, governments try regulation. Enhancement licenses. Safety caps. Ethical review boards. But the market moves faster than the law. Corporations release private upgrades overseas. Black market enhancement clinics appear. Underground firmware updates push limits beyond approved thresholds. Soon, enhancement isn't just an advantage, it's a requirement. If you want to compete, you upgrade. If you don't, you fall behind permanently. This is where fear enters the system. Unenhanced humans begin to feel obsolete. Not metaphorically, but structurally. Jobs vanish not because of AI replacing humans, but because enhanced humans replace unenhanced ones. A single upgraded worker can do the work of 10 baseline humans. In politics, enhanced candidates dominate debates, strategy, and negotiation. In law enforcement, enhanced officers react faster than civilians can even perceive. The world begins to feel less human, not because machines took over, but because some humans became something else. Protests erupt. Not against technology itself, but against what people start calling biological unfairness. The argument isn't that enhancement is dangerous. It's that it breaks the social contract. Democracy assumes relatively equal cognitive capacity among citizens. Justice assumes comparable physical and mental agency. When some people think 10 times faster and perceive reality in expanded dimensions, those assumptions collapse. A vote cast by an enhanced mind suddenly feels heavier than one cast by an unmodified human, even if legally they count the same. Political movements form around a single phrase: remain human. They argue that enhancement has crossed a line, not into science fiction, but into species divergence. Enhanced humans aren't just better equipped, they're becoming incompatible with shared society. They process information differently. They feel emotions differently. Some even begin reporting altered perceptions of time, empathy, and selfhood. The fear isn't that enhanced humans are evil. It's that they are no longer relatable. This is the pressure cooker that produces human downgrade laws. At first, the laws are framed as temporary safeguards. Emergency measures to restore balance. Governments announce mandatory rollback of certain enhancements in public-facing roles. Judges cannot use cognitive accelerators. Politicians must operate at baseline processing speeds. Athletes are stripped of strength and reflex upgrades. The justification is fairness. The reality is control. But once downgrade infrastructure exists, it expands. Corporations are ordered to install remote deactivation protocols. Neural implants receive firmware updates limiting processing speed. Muscle enhancements are capped at human typical output. Memory expansions are compressed. Some upgrades are physically removed. Others are simply switched off, leaving users painfully aware of what they've lost. Imagine remembering what it felt like to think faster, to perceive more, to understand deeper patterns, and then being forced back into biological constraints you've already outgrown. Psychologically, the effect is devastating. Downgraded individuals report phantom cognition, similar to phantom limb syndrome. Their minds reach for capabilities that no longer exist. Tasks that once felt effortless become exhausting. Depression spikes. Identity crises follow. Many enhanced individuals didn't see their upgrades as tools, they saw them as themselves. Removing an enhancement isn't like taking away a device. It's like amputating a part of the self. Society's response is chillingly indifferent. Media narratives shift. Enhanced individuals are rebranded as threats who needed correction. Downgrades are described as rebalancing. Stories highlight rare cases of enhancement abuse while ignoring the millions who lived peacefully with upgrades. Slowly, the public begins to accept a dangerous idea. Progress must be limited to preserve comfort. As downgrade laws strengthen, enforcement becomes automated. Neural compliance scanners detect unauthorized enhancement activity. AI auditors monitor cognitive output for signs of illegal processing speed. People are flagged not for crimes, but for thinking too efficiently. Entire professions require certification proving biological baseline compliance. Being too capable becomes suspicious. Meanwhile, the black market explodes. Secret clinics offer illegal reactivation. Hidden firmware restores locked capabilities. Some enhanced individuals flee to unregulated zones where downgrade laws aren't enforced. These regions become hotspots of innovation and danger, places where humanity continues evolving without permission. Governments label them destabilizing. Citizens label them terrifying. But one thing is clear: downgrade laws don't stop enhancement. They just divide humanity more sharply. A new class system emerges. Not rich versus poor, but compliant versus augmented. Compliant humans live within legal biological limits, safe, predictable, and increasingly dependent on systems they can't fully understand. Augmented humans live on the edge of legality, operating faster, thinking deeper, but constantly hunted by regulatory systems designed to slow them down. And here's the darkest twist. Downgrade laws begin targeting not just enhancements, but potential. Genetic screening is used to suppress traits associated with high adaptability or intelligence. Children born with unusually high cognitive capacity are medically regulated to maintain social parity. The future isn't just about removing upgrades, it's about preventing excellence from emerging at all. Equality mutates into enforced mediocrity. Supporters argue this is necessary. They say a society that allows unlimited enhancement becomes ungovernable, that humans must remain understandable to each other to coexist, that if evolution accelerates too fast, civilization fractures. And there's truth here. A world where some humans operate at incomprehensible levels would be unstable. But the solution chosen isn't coexistence, it's suppression. Opponents argue that human downgrade laws represent the first time in history where humanity deliberately chose stagnation over adaptation. That instead of redesigning society to handle enhanced humans, society chose to break the humans instead. That fear, not ethics, drove the decision. The most unsettling question isn't whether downgrade laws are right or wrong. It's whether they're inevitable. Every technology that amplifies human capability eventually threatens existing power structures. Writing threatened oral tradition. Printing threatened kings. Education threatened aristocracy. Enhancement threatens the very idea of a shared human baseline. And when power feels threatened, it doesn't innovate, it restricts. So imagine the future again. Not one where machines enslave humans, but one where humans enslave their own potential. Where progress exists, but only behind locked doors. Where becoming more than human is possible, but illegal. Where the greatest crime isn't violence or theft, but being too advanced to be tolerated. Human downgrade laws force us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The biggest risk of future technology may not be what it does to us, but what we choose to do to ourselves to feel safe. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Your support helps this channel grow. Thank you for watching.